Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into what is arguably the most important shift in modern software engineering. We are breaking down two of the absolute heavyweights in the agentic development space, Cursor and Claude Code. Our goal here is simple, to help you figure out exactly which environment fits your workflow in this entirely new era of development.
Because here's the thing, Cursor and Claude Code used to feel like very different tools. But in 2026, that gap has become much, much harder to define. So let's just shatter this illusion right now. If you're still thinking of this as some basic IDE versus terminal comparison, you're operating on outdated info. That distinction is completely gone. So the real question we're exploring today isn't about which tool is universally smarter or which one managed to edge out a slightly higher score on some synthetic benchmark. The question is, which of these advanced workflows actually aligns with you, your engineering needs, your daily habits, and your team's ecosystem? We really need to get past those old 2025 myths. The reality today is that both of these products have evolved light years beyond basic autocomplete or simple chat boxes. We are looking at robust, comprehensive AI software engineering environments that are fully capable of managing massive, multi-step tasks totally autonomously. Section 1. Scenario 1. Deep Codebase Refactoring. Let's ground this in reality, right? Imagine you're tackling a massive task, like refactoring authentication across an entire multi-service codebase. In Cursor, this highly visual workflow lets you essentially command a fleet. You open the project, Cursor visually maps it out, and then you spin up a cloud agent. That agent operates entirely inside an isolated virtual machine, handling the heavy lifting, cloning, configuring, coding, all in the background, while you monitor it right there in your editor or just keep working locally. Now flip over to Claude Code. It tackles that exact same beast of a task, but seamlessly through whatever interface you already prefer, terminal, web, or an IDE plugin. It kicks off an agentic search to deeply map out your dependencies, plans its multi-file edits, and crucially, it natively runs your tests and CLOG commands to make sure it didn't break anything, all before serving the final output up for your review. And honestly, this perfectly illustrates the philosophical divide here. Cursor leans hard into an AI-first, visually rich desktop experience. It wants to be your primary home base. Claude Code, on the other hand, is all about omnipresent reach. It meets you wherever you naturally work, extending that deep repository context into your terminal, your current IDE, or natively inside GitHub.
Section 2, Scenario 2, Parallel Multi-Agent Development. All right, so what happens when a developer is juggling several independent tasks at once? Say you need to fix a bug, wire up a new feature, write a test suite, and review a colleague's PR. Back in the day, you'd be stuck doing all of that sequentially. Not anymore. Both of these platforms now support unbelievably sophisticated workflows where tens or even hundreds of subagents can just grind away asynchronously in parallel. How they actually manage this chaos is where things get interesting. Cursor orchestrates this by seamlessly handing tasks back and forth between local agents and cloud VMs, all inside this incredibly unified multi-repo user interface. Claude Code approaches it with its agent view, which essentially lets you spin up new agents, push them to the background, and monitor all those live sessions straight from your CLI or a web browser, only pinging you when it actually needs a human decision. But here is the thing you absolutely have to take away from this. Superpowers like parallelism, computer use, model context protocol integrations, background work, these are no longer unique selling points. Both platforms can autonomously spin up a browser to test a UI they just wrote. Both connect natively to external tools. This is just the baseline standard now for a modern engineering environment. Section 3. The crucial ecosystem differences. So if they both have these crazy agentic capabilities, what's the actual difference? Well, we have to look under the hood. A massive deciding factor is model choice. Cursor gives you a multi-model ecosystem. It uses an automated router that dynamically jumps between OpenAI, Gemini, Anthropic, or others, depending on what the task actually needs. Claude Code, conversely, is deeply, intricately optimized specifically around Anthropic's own Claude model family. So it's multi-model flexibility on one side versus highly optimized single-vendor synergy on the other. You also really have to think about your physical, day-to-day workspace. If you're looking for a master control station designed from the absolute ground up for AI, Cursor is the ultimate desktop environment for sure. But if you want your AI integrated into your existing stack, like executing a task from a Slack thread or running directly inside a remote GitHub container, Claude Code literally meets you everywhere. Now, a quick but vital reality check. We are talking about software, writing software. Because both of these platforms can autonomously run terminal commands, execute tests, and leverage external tools, understanding their security models is absolutely crucial. Neither is totally immune to risk, right? So understanding how they sandbox these autonomous agents and how you manage their permissions is non-negotiable for professional teams. Section 4. Your Practical Decision Framework. We've covered a ton of ground today, from deep workflows and parallelism to ecosystem differences. So let's distill this into a highly actionable framework. You should absolutely choose Cursor if your priority is a dedicated AI-first IDE experience. If you love visual workflows, if you want the flexibility of multiple models, and if you need a unified UI for managing a swarm of local and cloud agents, Cursor is literally built for you. On the flip side, Claude Code is your go-to if you prioritize deeply interactive, agentic engineering, but want to stay in your terminal. If your workflow relies heavily on GitHub, web interfaces, and you specifically want Anthropic's models driving deep, asynchronous repository exploration, this is without a doubt your platform. But honestly, here is the real trend we are seeing among top-tier engineering teams. Advanced developers aren't strictly choosing a universal winner anymore. They're orchestrating both. We're seeing devs use Cursor as their daily, highly visual driver for local work, while simultaneously deploying Claude Code for massive, asynchronous, repository-wide background tasks. They aren't enemies, they're complementary forces. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. Maybe the future of development isn't about choosing just one AI coding agent. Maybe it's about learning how to manage all of them. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.